hands of Shogun and Taki to make sure that this bot lane is just going to be in their side if they want to win with this composition.
Yeah, Saigon Buffalo have a lot of agency on all their champions. It's one of those drafts that just looks insane when you're ahead, especially in the mid game, because everyone can find a pick, everyone can set up the play, even the ADC can do it. So it's an exciting draft. It can backfire very quickly and very heavily too. If you ever overstep into Event Horizon and the enemy team gets a 4-kill advantage or whatever, then suddenly you don't have the damage to cut down the Jinx and the Veigar anymore, and you just lose every team fight. So it's a spicy draft. It's a very challenging draft to play and to perform on. But if they're able to do it, they should be on the front foot and be able to walk this game home. Especially if it comes down once again to a Dragon Snowball, as the first two games have.
Yeah, and I hope that SGB would be able to do that. This snowball that they can have here for the early stages of the game. And also, this is one of the what I like about Ixanti, this is one of the champions that could go hand to hand against the Jax, and he would be able to win in the early parts. But I mean, Jax is really strong in the late game. But as long as you get the hold of the early to mid game, this is gonna be good. But again, the challenge here is for GAM is how they survive this first few bouts, first few objectives.
Yeah, very interesting to see Kiaya actually opting for the lane-focused rune here, wants to trade more potently in the early game, because last game we saw Hasmet actually go Lethal Tempo, which of course is a stronger team fighting, a stronger scaling rune compared to the Grasp that is mostly for laning phase. So Kiaya wanting to stay competitive and let his items carry him in the team fights instead of the rune, which I think is usually the more common choice. But yeah, I also like to see the Lethal Tempo for some of the Jax players, because that can snowball out of control so quickly. And we saw Hasmet dealt insane amounts of damage last game.
Yeah, Kiai is just playing it safe because Keisante is at ultimate bot lane. They're going for a fight. Taki, Ignited, and Shogun is going to be holding down. But Style is in no position to actually deal a lot of damage. Blade Caller, if one more feather hit, could have been a kill for Style.
That was insane.
Again, bot lane, that was too scary.
That was very far forward from Style. If he steps 1 foot out of line there, he insta-dies. Of course, he knows Levi is coming, so they were ready to pounce, but good dodge from Shogun.
Yeah, that dredge line was able to hit. Enough damage from Levi could potentially net them the first kill. And SGB, this is what they want. They want to hold on to this early game advantage on a Nautilus lane, because the Blade Caller is so deadly at this point. So this is what they want to use in their favor.
Taki wants to chunk Xin out. They can't really kill Xin here. Doesn't really change all that much about the lane, but yeah, I mean, why not? It also is not something did not do, so I'm fine with this. Taki now playing interference, so Shogun can be sure to go back to base. We saw a kind of a cheater recall for Style, using his pushing power to just get an early reset in, and he went back to lane with Karl, so already signaling that he doesn't really want to fight too much anymore. That was a bit too scary with him dropping to 100 HP. He wants to farm, he wants to scale, which makes a lot of sense on the Jinx matchup. Now it's on Shogun and Taki to show that they can actually disrupt this plan.
What a great pull from Hasmet at the top side, and Kiaya now on low HP. And now he has an advantage if ever they're going to go for a fight here. One knock-up could potentially change sides here for the side right here of SGB, and looking at them, just using their champions in their favor. I like that. I like seeing this players just making use of their early game advantage. And at level 6 for sure, we're going to be seeing a big fight that could potentially turn things around and take off the stability that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, very slow, very tense early game. We saw some early attempts at a kill, mid lane for Saigon Buffalo, bot lane for GAM, but not yielding too much. And I like to see both teams also respecting their boundaries, not over pushing into the tower like we saw last game. So both teams crucially aware of how important this game is for both teams. I mean, honestly, it's much more important for Saigon Buffalo, who are closer in the race for playoffs. So a win against GAM would be an immense boon, because no other team has been able to beat GAM, and that free victory that no one else can replicate would actually propel them into the top half of the standings. Well,
Yeah.
GAM is playing for mostly the records, right? Because 6-0,
Yep.
you need 2 more series to get into playoffs. That's very likely to happen. That would be a colossal collapse from GAM if they weren't able to
Yeah.
get to 8 wins. So it's mostly just looking at that elusive first place and the even more elusive 14-0. For them, losing this series wouldn't be a big deal. For Saigon Buffalo, it would be huge to win.
Yeah, so Saigon Buffaloes, this is what they need. They need to put themselves forward and not let GAM just walk away with this 14-0. Yes, it would be hard for GAM to get out of this one, but SGB is taking their chances, making use of disrupts. That's why they did what they did in game 1. That gives a big explanation to it, because they want to try something different. If this something different works, it's going to be monumental. But right now, Grand Entrance is going to be used, forcing the flash out of the way for Zin, because he was... What was that? The positioning was not in their favor.
Look at mid lane. Carty going really low, and Froggy has his ult available, so they need to be careful. They need to be respecting this Galio. Levi might be a little out of line. I think he should really not look for the fight, as Froggy is so much stronger at this point in time.
Ooh.
Ooh, the
They
hit!
go. They were able to hit. Grand Entrance is available for Levi, and that's going to be it. He tried to predict the flash, and Levi was able to survive. A lot of damage onto Taki, forcing the heal from Shogun. That was so big brain from Taki. It's just Levi just held on to it.
Yeah, Taki playing it very, very riskily there. But he actually walks away with his life, and now Levi was forced to flash away, which is huge, because of course Wukong without his flash it's much harder to get on top of the targets. I expect Froggy to be in quite a bit of danger now, because he has been playing against this cage, and the way he's playing right now, where he steps up very aggressively and just dances inside the cage and doesn't actually care about the stun. But if he does this while Wukong is on top of him, he's probably gonna die. So yeah, Froggy might have to change his playstyle a bit and respect the cage engage more, especially with Levi hitting level 6 with the next few camps.
Yeah, and something to remember though, Kati is just getting a lot of sacks here, especially in the mid lane. It's easier to just hit the Galio every time, but right now Levi fighting against a lot of people here. Not having the ultimate is going to be bad. They have the Event Horizon coming in, but not enough damage to get the kill, and that's the first blood coming to this side. And Kati tries to go for something, but the ultimate is not there, so at least they got that first blood. SGB takes 1.
And what a start! Guri! He gets the better of Levi for the first time here, really, in the one-on-one, and Levi overstepping his boundaries. His flash was blown. Why is he aggressively posturing for the topside scuttle when he doesn't know what's going on? No flash, so he can't flash away from this Grand Entrance. Guri follows this up instantly. Good Lee Sin mechanics, as we expect from all our players. Yeah, this is just an overstep again from Levi, and GAM still playing a little disrespectfully.
Yeah. And because of what they did a while ago, again, SGB is just making use of the openings that GAM gives them. And once they find that opening, that's going to be an easy kill for them. And this is what I like about this Lee Sin pick from Guri, is that whenever they find this opportunity, the decoy is not going to be finding anywhere value, because Levi, once he uses the decoy, he does have the vision from this Lee Sin, so it's not going to be easy to get in and out of fights. Once they go in, they need to go in hard for the side of GAM, because SGB is just going to collapse on them.
Yeah, and Carty has looked pretty comfortable in lane, and was actually close to changing the fight there with all his burst onto Guri. Guri almost died to that one, but he's still a Viger. He still needs some time. Needs to play from behind in terms of positioning, because Viger never really wants to position aggressively or posture aggressively.
How is he going to get away with this? Doesn't have any flash, but they have the hero's entrance for Froggy. But GAM is just low HP, so Kiaya, big disadvantage here, but it's a good thing that Hasman is not in the mids, because that could have been very destructive for GAM.
That's actually a really winning play for GAM, because Saigon Buffalo used their first Gallia ultimate defensively just to save their jungler, who walked into a basic ability, which is Artie's Cage. That is just an E traded for Gallia ultimate while they still get the objective. So going heavily in GAM's favor, and they secure the first Rift Herald, which should propel them into a gold lead if Shogun is not able to mine away too many plates in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's going to be taking the plate. He's going to be taking the Drake right there, Cloud Drake on their side. So this gives them more opportunity to just go for fights like that, especially that they have a Rakan. Having a Cloud Drake on your hands is going to be big so that he can engage a lot more. Right now, on our compositions, we're not seeing a lot of kills. We're not seeing a lot of fights. We're just seeing Guri just taking one kill on the board. It's a slower game than what we had during the past 2 ones because nobody wants to take that L.
Yeah, it's good to see, because the other 2 games were explosive for the wrong reasons, right? We like explosive games, but if it's just because the team is inting, then the explosiveness is not very interesting. This game is more respect from both sides. Froggy, I was just talking about respect, and that was not very respectful from Froggy.
Yeah, that charge coming in. Froggy is going to be holding down. Would they have enough damage here, though? Froggy. Now, Ignite is on his head. He doesn't have any flashes to work with anymore. They have the Resonating Strike. Sonic Wave is not going to hit. Granted, is going to be able to get onto Zin, but he is not going to be moving around because he knows he can survive. They have another event horizon at the ready for Caddy. But because of that, all those wars, we're going to be having a lot of playthings for style.
Yeah, I want to see a command made of that in our Discord, because that is the greediest I've ever seen a pro player be for plating. That was so unbelievably disrespectful and greedy to go for the plating there. Where is he? Why is he walking like that around the tower? This is just insanity. And Froggy, honestly, I was impressed by his movement. His movement is still really cool. He dodges almost everything, but it's just a little too much, and he goes down. Also, Guri, we don't talk about him.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
he got stunned in. That's bad. But right now with GAM, just losing a bit of the plating here in the bot lane. With 1 kill, it's not going to be enough to change things around here. But SGB, still possible for them to make work of this. But remember, the longer this game goes, it's way harder for SGB. So they're just making use of it. Look at how they play this. They want to take some platings in. They want to fight on a 4v3. They don't have Caddy. But GAM is just going to be walking around, just going to be playing it safe, not having any vision and Tribrush. So this is 4 playthings for free for Shogun and
That's a lot of gold
Guri.
into Shogun. Shogun, of course, is the main carry of the team. He had some really good performances, especially in Game 1. Game 2 had 1 or 2 oversteps on the ES reel, while his top side actually carried for once. And now it's back to Shogun on the strongest champion on the patch, a lot of people would say.
Ooh, Grand Entrance right there. Zin has been hit, but what did they go for there? They didn't go in. The Sonic Wave wasn't able to hit, but could have been a great fight there for SGB.
Yeah, grand entrance and even grander exit, you could say. But I like to see this, actually, because overcommitting under tower is one of the downfalls of a lot of VCS teams. A lot of the over-aggression when you commit to a play. I like to see people be able to change their plans, right? The plan was clearly dive, and they had everything set up to dive, but then the dive goes wrong in the first few frames, and instead of just overcommitting to a bad play, which would have been to force the dive, even though the dive didn't look good, instantly Taki calls it off, goes out. Okay, he used his flash on his ultimate. It's not great, but it's better than losing the game over a useless dive, right? So, still like to see this from Saigon Buffalo. This is something they wouldn't have done 2 years ago. They would have just committed to the play and lost the game on the spot.
Yeah, they didn't have any items too for Shogun. Right now with the Gale Force up and ready, this is going to be way bigger for them to at least do those kinds of dives. But Taki, yeah, it's a good thing that they were able to pull it back. But right now, you have no objectives in our mid, so they're trying to shake up mid and maybe find some opportunities right there in the bottom lane. They're trying to get some platings to their side because bot lane has no more. Basically, it's super low, so they're just looking for the jungle, try to weed out where Levi is, because at this point, Levi's not going to be doing much.
Yeah, you could either play for bot lane tower here and commit a lot for bot lane tower, which fortunately is close to dragon, so you wouldn't even lose objective control over the dragon. It doesn't seem like SGB really wants to do it. They want to contest mid-wave, which of course makes a lot of sense too, very important. We have one item on Shogun who's in a very strong spot right now, especially compared to style. So fighting over mid-wave to enable the next dragon control is also more than decent. I would like to see them try to make an attempt to funnel even more gold onto Shogun with the bot lane tower, but more important to me personally is the Dragon Snowball, because both of the games so far in the series were decided, partially at least, by the Dragon Snowball going in one team's favor. We had 2 4-0 dragons, if I remember correctly, so Saigon Buffalo trying to set up yet another dragon win condition.
Yeah. Okay, they're going to be setting up for this dragon. Great timings for both of our sides. We're going to be seeing our first big fight here. Because this is where we want to start those types of fights with them having their items, with them having everything. And this dragon fight is going to be big. Let's see on how they're going to be setting this up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if GAM will commit to this fight, because if you look at the ADC items, that is quite a big difference. Kati is waiting in base, waiting to TP, but he's defensively TPing to his own tower instead of looking for the flank, which on Veigar would be ill-advised. But I'm still holding my breath because I'm not so sure if GAM really wants to commit to this. Yes, the other champs in their team are quite strong, but the Jinx is very far behind compared to the Zarya.
I think this is going to be good, because if Kaya is chasing on where Froggy is, he won't be able to use the grand entrance. So this is going to be a good opportunity for the side of GAM. It's just going to be canceling out Froggy here. And now they gave the Ocean Drake for a mid turret. That's going to be big for SGB. If they take down this mid turret, that's going to be a lot of openings for GAM. They're taking a long time, but there's still going to be a tower. SGB got the better trade right there.
Yeah, for the first time really this series, we prioritized a tower over a dragon, which is not something I would have expected, especially looking at the item power spikes and Shogun being in such a good position to outperform Style in this fight. So I thought Saigon Buffalo would surely go for the fight there, but instead they decide to trade objectives, more gold and a little bit less power in the Dragon Snowball. I'm still not quite sure if I like this, but they do get the topside objective in the Herald too, so that should really propel them pretty far ahead in the mid game. They're actually even in gold right now, so they're not even ahead, and they've already lost the bot lane tower, so overall I feel like I still favor GAM's approach to this fight here, especially considering that Style didn't have an item ready for the fight. He just now finished his mythic item, so now he's much stronger and much more ready to fight. But when they looked at Dragon, he was only sitting on components, so a little bit of a highway robbery in my opinion that GAM walks away with the second Dragon of the game.
Yeah, they were able to get away with it because Froggy was not in position to use the hero's entrance. That's why they didn't even try to go get close to the Drake. But now, with that, mid lane turret is also a big thing here, because having a mid lane turret that... Oh wait! Flash from Caddy! No, we didn't see it, Caddy. No flash for Caddy, and they had vision there. They know that Caddy doesn't have any flash.
Okay, that can be big, because of course Rakan struggles into Veigar most of the time, but if you focus just on the Veigar and you get close enough with the flash ultimate, you can actually avoid his arming time. For the skill needs 0.75 seconds, I believe, to actually be in effect, like the stun cage. So if you flash right on his head and just ult him before he can react with the E being armed, then you can actually try to exploit. Now, of course, Kati is really, really tanky. He's one of the tankiest Veigars I've ever seen. Look at him. He's more than 2k HP already. So it's not going to be easy to take him down. But there might be a slight opportunity.
Yeah, they tried to find an opportunity, though, to go for a fight. Event Horizon could have been ready there, but I think Froggy was able to smell that from a mile away. Was able to just get away from it. And now with this, setting up at the top side, they want to get the kill here. And they want to find another thing here. We're not getting any kills, so they want to find something out of nothing here for the side of GAM. That's why Levi is just hanging around here together with Xin.
And I'm getting worried, Dash, because Saigon Buffalo has never been as good in macro and rotations as GAM, and we're seeing GAM from the back foot, actually from a disadvantageous game state right now, winning the race in terms of towers, in terms of objectives and wave states, even though if you look at the ADC items, Shogun is sitting on 2 items. He's insanely strong right now. He has the 2 biggest items of the game for Zarya, while his opponent is only sitting on a completed mythic. So you should force fights right now. It's not going to get better. Kati is scaling, Jinx is scaling. Like, when are you going to fight if not now? I'm getting a little bit concerned. I like the restraint, but at some point you need to also pounce. You need to actually advance the game state, because Veigar Jinx late game, I'm not sure if you want to fight into that.
Yeah, they're not gonna get close as long as Caddy is alive during those fights, and Styles is just gonna be free hitting them. Oh, this is going to be hard for SGB. I hope that they would be able to pull the trigger here and not just play safely. Because remember, they have the opportunities to do it. They have the quickness. They have the grand entrance. It's easy to make use of those entrances that they have from the Galleon and the Rakan and just net them a kill pretty easily. But right now, they're playing it safe. And they do have a lot of tanky champions. And later on, you don't have anything to make sure that you would have the damage to execute against GAM. GAM has a lot of scaling, so this is going to be hard as the longer the game goes.
Yeah, next Dragon coming up in a minute, so that could be the focus of Saigon Buffalo, but if GAM decides to not fight, then there's not really anything Saigon Buffalo can do about that, because GAM walked away with the last dragon. And this is exactly why I was questioning that trade, because the dragon will always force the enemy team to have to contest into you, right? But if you delay your dragon power spike by this long, it just gives the enemy team so much free time to scale on their Jinx, on their Veigar. So now they really don't have to contest this next dragon. They don't even have to contest the dragon afterwards if they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
So they have more than 10 minutes time to get items under the belts. That should be more than enough to get to IE, to get to fully stacked Roa. He's almost there already. So yeah, Saigon Buffalo, this might backfire horribly, that decision they took earlier not to contest dragon number 2.
Yeah, and they need to do something here for SGB. Look at them. SGB wants to go for a fight. GAM really confident that they would be able to do something about this, because right now, even with Style not having any items, they're that confident that they would be able to do something. Because remember, they have a Jax, so it would be easy to get into the back line. Right now, they want to go for a fight. They have the Grand Entrance. Remember, they do have a flash on Taki. We're waiting for him to actually go in. They go in, and that's going to be it. Event Horizon is going to be there to actually help out Guri. Hero's Entrance is not going to be hitting anybody. They're just going into the back line. Kiaya, too aggressive, is going to fall down, and I think this might be it. They might be able to get it more. Guri is still low in HP, but look at the damage right here from the Saya. Shogun is just dealing so much. Is he going to be able to do more? Look at the positioning right here from the side of GAM. They are way far out of each other, but SGB, look at the Event Horizon. They're not going to get close. Scotty is very tanky. He's going to fall here. He's going to down. And SGB is just making sure that this fight is not going to be easier for you. It is a 3-4-2, and they got the win out of that fight.
Yes, they do win in terms of kills, but they lose yet another objective, and just the way they're playing these fights almost reminds me of MBE, or rather these setups for Dragons. They just let the control of the river slip so easily, and it should never be this easy for GAM in this game state to walk into river and just dominate the positioning. They get the Dragon at the very start of the fight, and Froggy buys so much time. Taki and Froggy hold off the rest of the team, and buy enough time so Kati, they can focus Kiaya down, but still, it's a winning fight right now. Shogun does his damnedest to try and win, and Hasmet also having a really nice fight, actually only using ult very late in the fight to not fall down easily. And I don't think Shogun thought that Kati's ult was still available, considering that the fight was already happening for 20 seconds, and Kati held on to that ultimate, waited for Shogun to be low, and finally executed him. Very scary to play the Xayah into this Veigar, because if you can do this every single time, how do you even fight? It was already so hard for Shogun to step up into Wukong, into Jax. And it just looks like Saigon Buffalo is not assertive enough to really get an advantage in this game.
Yeah, they need to. They need to go for those fights, though, because honestly, one of the biggest things that I've seen here was that Taki and Guri are really afraid of the Event Horizon, because once they go in, they're gonna die, and that's what they're afraid of. They shouldn't, because remember, they have ultimates to work with here. Even in those types of fight, one hero's entrance could potentially turn things around. Yes, you wouldn't be bursted pretty easily, but look at Taki popping the slow right there. Didn't even try to actually get close onto Kati. And Kati right now has a lot of stacks. Even if I can see it, I know that he has a lot.
Yeah, and even if his stacks count isn't too great, he's still such a big defensive tool. Even if he doesn't deal any damage, his E alone and all his zoning with the Ws is so hard to overcome for this melee-heavy, short-range composition for Saigon Buffalo. They have two options here. Either they force the enemy team to walk into them through objective positioning, through better Dragon setup, or Baron, even starting the Baron. And if the enemy team has to walk into you, they expose their own position, right? Veigar and Jinx can't be as safe if they walk into you as they can when you walk into them. So that's option one. I think that's the better option. But option number two is also to hard commit to dive. And this is hard to do, but of course, if you actually get on top of Style or Kati and kill them, then the rest of the fight should be easy. But if you go wishy-washy in between those two options, you can never win, because the range ultimately is too much to overcome in a front-to-back team fight. So I need Saigon Buffalo to decide on one of the two courses of actions. And if they can find a good fight where the enemy team has to walk into them, I think they can still win. They still have a lot of damage in CC.
Yeah, they might be able to do this, though, if ever they go for a fight. Right now, they're still afraid, because, as you said, GAM does have the defensive tools. They have the Cyclone, the Event Horizon. That's why SGB is having a hard time deciding if they would want to go for a fight or not. But Shogun right now, really close to the third item. They should use this advantage that they have, because if they don't, one style gets that third item on this Jinx. That is when this Jinx is going to be hitting hard, and you're not even going to get close to this Jinx. Right now, look at GAM. They're now forcing the fights because they know that they have this damage. They have these tools that SGB is afraid of, and they're using that those tools to even ward them off, and not even using them is enough, or at least the presence of that champion is enough to push them back.
And yet another dragon went to GAM, so there's even less reason for GAM, if they don't want to fight the dragon. Now, so far they have actually contested every dragon, because they had better positioning, so I don't really see why that trend would suddenly stop. But if Saigon Buffalo plays the dragon setup better this time, as it's happening right now on our screen, then GAM can also just say, okay, we don't actually want to fight you. That is too scary for us. We don't want to walk into you, and what are you going to do? You only have one dragon, so we don't really care about you getting another dragon. And now the Baron also being fancied by GAM as they ping quite a bit on the Baron pit. They could also just try to trade Baron for the dragon, so the options are running out for the side of Saigon Buffalo, and GAM is looking very comfortable.
Yep. Taki using the grand entrance to just ward them off. GAM, are they going to be threatening SGB? Are they going to be threatening the Baron? That's why they're not contesting this dragon that is available right now. They know that this Jinx is here. They had vision, so they know that Style is going to be taking this dragon, but SGB is still struggling to decide on where they want to go. Is this a good thing? Because right now SGB are struggling. Are they going to be starting a dragon, or are they going to start the Baron? They're not going to be starting anything, and that just gives GAM an opportunity to take the Drake easily and contest this Baron against them.
Yeah, now they started after the dragon is down, so...
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is just desperation play. This is still one of the two scenarios I talked about. Now GAM has to walk into them if they actually committed to the Baron.
Yeah.
But they're just posturing, and this makes it easy for GAM to just slowly go in there, but here's the fight.
Losing HP, Event Horizon was able to get him forward. That's going to be a stun on Taki. Won't be able to do anything. That's going to be a hero's entrance also, but it's not enough to actually do anything. Style is free to style on them, and that's a lot of damage coming through, and they don't have anything anymore, and GAM just freely reigned over them, and that's going to be a free Baron together with it. That's just salt to the wound against SGB.
Yeah, it's a masterclass. It's just this macro masterclass for GAM in this game. They show why they have, one of the reasons, I should say, but they've been the best team for such a long time. Yes, their hands are great. Yes, their players are generational talents for VN players and the best players we've ever seen in some of the positions, but they're also by far the best macro team. They understand concepts that other teams just don't have any idea how to execute. They look like one of the really, really well-coached teams in some of the other bigger leagues, and yeah, it's just honestly impressive to see how much better GAM is at understanding the map and understanding their pressure points and dealing with a tempo and just transitioning from one point to the other. Saigon Buffalo was torn. Do we contest Dragon? Do we set up Baron? Do we start Baron here, let them walk into us? Do we stop their Dragon? Do we try to go into River? They thought about all of these, but the thinking took too much time, and GAM in the meantime just chilled at Dragon, got the Dragon, then walked over to Baron, and now Saigon Buffalo is in a kind of lose-lose situation where in their minds they've already lost everything, right? They already lost the Dragon for nothing, so now in their minds they think, okay, we have to do Baron. The right macro play here is to do Baron. And they would be right if it was 10 seconds earlier. But at that point, the Baron is actually not the correct macro play, and then they lose on that side as well. Now GAM in a gigantic advantage with the better team composition. 3 items done on both Carty and Style. And it looks like it's gonna be yet another 2-1 victory for the side of GAM.
Yeah, I mean, the struggles right here. I can see the struggles of SGB. They're always afraid of the Vigar, and that's why they're not even engaging. Look at them here. This is going to be the last chance. And remember, they even had the Xayah. Xayah is really strong and so fed, and they didn't find any of this opportunities to actually make use of that, and that's why GAM was just able to scale. And right now they want to go for a fight that Grand Entrance wasn't able to hit, and now they want to go in. Look at the flash in knockback, and it's not going to be able to hit anything. Hasmet is going to fall down to get with the Hero's Entrance. It's not going to be hitting anybody, and SGB walks away in shame, and that's 1 kill already on the hands of GAM.
Look how easy it is to play team fights when we have the Jinx and the Viger. It's so unbelievably easy. Everyone can do this. They're not doing anything special, but they got to this point, and that's the impressive part. The execution in the team fights now is just something everyone can do. This is exactly why I said MBE should pick comps like this, because at this point, anyone can win a game with this composition.
Yeah.
But the way GAM utilize their champions to get over the hump, to get over the mid game, to let Jinx scale, to let Viger get to a critical mass, is the impressive part. Now the team fights are just, they will play themselves. And Saigon Buffalo, they failed to find their window of engage. They needed to hard engage with this composition, and it is insanely scary to play hard engage into Viger. But if you pick hard engage and low range compositions that spike in mid game, and you never use that spike, what is your win condition? You literally have no win condition whatsoever, because you will never win a front-to-back team fighting composition, or team fight. You will never win the scaling war, so you have to commit to this crazy, risky play. And this is unfortunately one of the games that shows you that if you're too afraid of the enemy team and too afraid of making the move, you can just slowly bleed out. And especially against a good macro team like GAM, they will handle you pretty easily.
Yeah. And now with that, we can definitely say that this is a fight that GAM is just going to be taking this last fight pretty easily. They got the inhibitor already on the bot side. They want to play it safe even and want to just take this last Drake before they go for the end. Right now, SGB doesn't have any vision, won't be able to have any vision at this point in the map, and at that positioning right there, the red buff, because it's not going to be easy to go forward because they don't have a lot of priority anymore, and they just want to take 1 kill. This is desperation from them, that they just want to take 1 kill, get some shutdowns, but Jax doesn't have anything. It's just going to be an easy Hextech Drake here, and it's Hextech Soul. That's just a lot of damage again for the side of GAM here.
And there's a lot to do in the review, because if you look at this, if you take this still frame, and then you take another still frame from like 50 minutes before, you should ask yourself, how did we ever end up with Hextech Soul on GAM after such a good early advantage for Saigon Buffalo and such a dominant item lead in their ADC position with Galio in the mid game and Lee Sin? So many tools to control the river, and somehow we lost the next 3 Drakes? How? Yeah, that is the main thing they need to review about this one, to understand the macro advantage that GAM created and the way they conduct themselves in this game. It is very impressive from GAM. This is why they're the best team here. They're by far the best macro team, and Saigon Buffalo, they fought valiantly, but in the end, ultimately, they have not been able to find a single winning, like, game-winning play in this game, not even close to one.
Yeah, and they have a lot of opportunities to do that. They have a lot of tools to do that, because the Grand Entrance from Take is gonna be enough. Quickness Grand Entrance is enough to engage onto the back line, and they didn't do anything. As long as the game is stable for GAM, it's just gonna be scaling up. I think a lot of them didn't even do much. They just didn't commit on fights that they know that they're gonna lose. That's why GAM, even that control that they had there is impressive in itself, because they know how they're gonna win, and they just went in for that goal.
So you're a guest caster here, but I've been covering GAM for so many years, and it took them a lot of time to evolve into this disciplined team. They used to be insanely explosive. They used to stomp everyone with 5k gold leads in the early game, but now they're actually just a really solid team that knows how to play the game. That knows how to play the map, and shows a lot of restraint and shows that sense of when to strike and how to strike.
Oh no, this is bad. They're teleporting. This is Akari, right? They have the Zonius. This might be a possibility, but look at the back line. They already have reshift, and they were able to do some damage right there. The Cyclone is going to come in, but are they going to be able to do something more? They're just getting mowed down. Shogun doesn't have the ultimate, was able to pull back, and that's going to be the kill, and that's as easy as it could get, because Kaya is just chasing down on Taki, and Taki is just going to be dead in the water here. It's just going to be giving this kill, and that is GAM just taking this game. They're just going to be ending it, and that was an impressive game. The discipline that they had, as you said, it took them a long time. Right now, what's more impressive is this their restraint and their lock towards the goal. And this is going to be a win again. 7-0 for GAM on this first set of round robins.
And this game to me is more impressive than some of their stompy performances because